All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Please take your seats, and I'm going to go ahead and go through roll call. If you are here, please say here. If you're not, then I probably won't hear anything. All right, Senator Govea, Senator McCain, Senator Mattern, Senator Black, Senator Buchanan, Senator Scott, Senator McQueary, Senator Barrett, Senator Helms,
Here.
Senator Rojas, Senator Khan,
Here.
Senator Vargas, Senator Shepard, Senator Holman in person, Senator Tran,
Here.
Senator Kirkby, Senator Manning, Senator Waller, Senator King, Senator McNamara, Senator Price, Senator Ocampo, Senator Gossett,
Here.
Senator Kai,
Here.
Senator Owel Baja, Senator Lazama,
Here.
Senator Carnes, Senator Santee, Senator Reed, Senator Uden,
Here.
Senator Minnick, Senator Okiki,
Here.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move towards the approval of minutes. I'm going to stop share and I will share this. I'm going to scroll through this, and if you have any objections to the minutes, please speak now or hold your peace. All in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, please raise your hand or do a thumbs down emoji. Any abstentions? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move right along. I will go back to the agenda. Wait, wrong one. There we go. Is anybody here for open forum? Seeing none, I would like to introduce Dr. Katie Stone. She is here to discuss the QEP and a few updates and maybe potentially talk about her new role.
Well, I might grab your attention. Oh, thank you. Yes. With a little swag, because who doesn't love a little swag? So Robert, would you do the honors of passing this out for me? Just in case you forget of what I've talked about today, you can remember and share this with the rest of campus. But thank you to Landry. Landry serves on our QEP steering committee. And so does anyone know what QEP stands for? Yes, Quality Enhancement Plan. And this is part of our accreditation process, right? We just went through our 10th year review. And as part of that review, we had to put forth a proposal from our entire university about what we were doing to enhance the education and the student success here at UT Tyler, right? And so what we decided as a campus from like 2016 is that we would focus on developing students' real-world problem-solving skills, right? So that's our QEP in a nutshell, developing students' real-world problem-solving skills. And we're doing this in kind of numerous ways. The biggest way we're doing it is through a curriculum. So we've identified 10 courses across 10 different disciplines where we are having students engage in a real-world problem-solving assignment, right? And then we are going to expand over the course of our 5 years of this strategic plan. We're also looking at co-curriculars. So for students who are maybe not enrolled in that class, they'll have the opportunity to also participate. And we've identified the annual Lyceum Research Showcase, which happens in April and is sponsored by the Honors Program, as that opportunity. And we're looking to expand over the years as well. And so just kind of wanted you as student government leaders to know about what the university has deemed a priority for you all, and to know about what's actually happening in the curriculum, and that faculty and staff are being very intentional about the curriculum and the experience you have at UT Tyler, so that when you leave UT Tyler, you'll have the skill sets that employers are looking for. So that is about the QEP, but as to Landry's announcement, this feels weird, but I just accepted a role at the School of Medicine doing Director of Student Wellness there, which is really, really exciting. And they're going to hire a new QEP person. So when the QEP happens, it may not be my face, which is maybe good. It'll be other people's faces as well. And so Landry's sweet. But any questions about the QEP, either in person or on Zoom? Yes.
Is there anything we can actively be doing to help you or the university help achieve this plan besides, going to class and doing our homework? What is something that we can be, I guess, more proactive in doing?
Yeah, great question. We do have a student advisory committee that was formed from SGA members last year. And so if SGA members are interested in being part of that advisory committee, maybe Landry or you can collect those and then send them my way, and then you can join the committee. And that's a way to kind of add your voice on how we can better implement this. Good question.
Any other?
I hope you see this as a very exciting thing, right? This
It-
is a really neat initiative that UT Tyler is spending, putting a lot of time and effort into to really help you all be better. And for those of you who are on Zoom, if you want a mug as well, you can just come to my office in Stewart Hall.
Yeah, this whole conversation with the quality enhancement plan and our theme of it, the real world problem solving aspect of it, which is all of it, really ties into what UT system is starting to move towards too, especially since, so we're trying to move towards more of a, I guess, certificate based, and then also just credential based curriculum that helps students like improve their marketability once they get out of college. So it's very important.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to do input, contact me. I'm happy to put you on the right places to where you can vocalize that. So
Are we short a few? Okay, I'll bring some to your office.
perfect. If you want some, stop by my office.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, next up, we have Chief of Police Metters and Assistant Chief of Police Bradley Standerfer. Is that how you say it? Good. Okay. Woo. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. This is just for Zoom attendees.
Okay. Well, Andrew, I appreciate the invitation to speak to the group tonight. Really, I didn't have anything to present to you all, so we're here really to answer any questions. So far this semester, we feel good about the safety of the campus. We haven't had anything significant happen. We hope you feel the same way. At least we haven't had the reports of anything significant happening. Matter of fact, we've taken I think we've just taken one student to jail this semester, so that's a good thing. So the students have been acting right, so that's how we like it. It's always our goal to take 0 students to jail, so we're almost meeting our goal right now. But we would like to just open it up to any questions. I know generally y'all have questions about parking. We understand that's a big hot topic on campus. But overall, I think even that's been going well this semester, but we'll just open it up for anything you have.
Hello. So I was wondering if you guys had anything to do with the gates at Victory and everything, and if you knew anything about when those would be implemented, like for us using it.
So that would actually be a question for housing. They handle all the gates and maintenance out there. I know they have been working on it recently to try and get them installed. Recently, you would have seen over at especially building 4, I believe they've kind of put in the new concrete. They've run some wire and some conduit, so everything's in place. Get those set up. It's just a matter of time, probably materials would be a question mainly for housing.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you first because I work at the HPC, so we constantly see you guys up there, and I know you guys got quite a few more PSOs actually. But there was a lot of talk about the blue lights on campus. Are we going to keep those? Or are we going to take them down?
There's no intention of taking them down. As a matter of fact, we're adding blue lights all the time, pretty frequently. It's not something that gets used a whole lot, but I think it does provide a measure of security, the feeling of security around campus. And I think it's a deterrent to people who come onto campus. They see that, you know, we take security seriously on campus. And again, you know, if you were out there and you didn't have your cell phone or your battery was dead or something, that's a good way, you know, for you to contact us. So has that been the rumor that we're losing those?
We've actually invested significantly recently in upgrading them from 3G to 4G so that they're going to be actually up to date and on the new systems and things like that. We're also installing 4 along the new walking. So as far as I know, they're going to stay here for a long time.
Is there any resources that you guys offer that you wish students utilized more?
That is an easy question. You want to take it? So we offer a lot of different programs. You know, we obviously will come out and do speaking groups. One that we really push is Run, Hide, Fight, trying to train people to understand what to do in an active shooter, active assailant type of situation. We get a lot of requests from the staff here, the faculty here, but we rarely get in front of student groups to do that. We are willing to host those anytime. RAD courses, those can be requested. We usually do one around fall, but if y'all have a big enough group that you want to put it on for, which is basically a rape, aggression, self-defense class, we'd be more than happy to put that on. We rarely get calls for safe walks. So that's kind of one thing that we are more than willing to do here late at night. If you're walking from the library to your vehicle, or you live at Liberty Landing at the back of the complex and you're walking from the UC over there, we'll be more than happy to give y'all a ride over to your building. That's something that goes heavily underutilized here on this campus. Anything else you can think of? Oh, the app, if you want to talk about the app.
Rave Guardian app is really underutilized, and it has that feature on it as well. If you don't want to call somebody to walk with you, you can set a safety timer. Or if you're walking across campus, you know it's going to take you 10 minutes to get to your location. And if you haven't deactivated that, once you arrived at your location, we would get an alert in dispatch. As long as your location services are on your phone, we'd be able to see where you are. We'd be able to send someone out. You know, it could be a medical emergency, or it could be some type of criminal action or a criminal incident, but we'd be able to get to you quickly, so you can see how that app could save lives. So it's the Rave Guardian app in your app store. It's completely free. No reason for you not to have it. From that app, you can dial 911. You can call us directly. And there's several other features on it, like you can talk to, or you can text our dispatchers. If for some reason you weren't able to talk, someone else were present, you didn't feel comfortable talking, you could text the tip to us. So there's a whole lot of features on that app that are beneficial. So we consider it probably underutilized. And like Brad said, the Safe Walk program, we really never get a call for that. It's very rare, but we really don't mind coming out and helping with that. And probably the only other thing I would say is, and I think students, staff, and faculty have really gotten better about reporting suspicious activity to us. But we always want to emphasize that with our students. If you see something, say something, go ahead and call us right then. Sometime we'll get these reports that are a day or two old, and we would have loved to known when it was happening, as opposed to, well, I got to thinking about it and maybe I ought to say something, but well, by then the person's already gone or the suspicious circumstance is already gone. So we would like to know about it when it's happening right then.
Hey, how are you guys doing today? Good, awesome. I have a question pertaining to parking. So at minimum, to live on campus during a fall or spring semester, you have to pay $2,480 to stay on campus. That's just living here at the university. I was wondering if there are any plans to help or to help lower the costs for residents who park on campus as well by somehow implementing parking permits into that costs. Because they already pay that amount at minimum to stay here at the university, and then another $90 on top of that to park at the university in their own parking lot kind of thing. Is there plans to help to try to work with housing to help lower that cost, or if not, combine them into one seamless cost so residents don't have to worry about being ticketed at the start of the semester because they didn't know that they needed a parking pass? Or are there any thoughts on that?
Oh, thanks. So actually, that's a good question. I'm a big proponent of streamlining things, and I have pushed to try and look into combining that fee into your housing fee or into just student fees in general. However, there's state law that prohibits that. So we're not allowed to combine parking into a fee-based system for students, in a sense that you're voluntarily have to be willing to pay for the parking permit to park here. It's required to park here, but you can choose not to drive a vehicle on this campus. If you live on campus, you can't really not choose to have a parking permit, but you can choose not to have a vehicle, right? So it's hard to charge somebody for something that they may not have. So that's why we don't automatically charge students for a parking permit. I would wish we could. It would make life easier for y'all and easy for us. We do give a grace period at the beginning of each semester where we advertise heavily that we're not issuing citations during the first 2 weeks. We make sure that we don't, because obviously it takes time for students to get adjusted to their classes, to get adjusted to living here. It may be their first time on their own. So there's lots of ways to give you some time to get those done. Another way we've made it a lot easier is, instead of making you all have to come stand in line to purchase a permit, it's now completely 100% online. We're trying to push to have a goal to make it to where there's not even a permit system anymore. So it'll all be license plate based. That's maybe in the next year or two, but currently we're starting to transition to that in the police department. Whereas if you didn't have a parking permit right now and you purchased it tonight at 10 o'clock, you would show in our system to have a permit, and you wouldn't receive any more citations at that point, whether or not you have the permit. So we've actually eliminated the fine for failing to display permit this year. So even if you lose your permit, if it gets stolen, if you're in a different vehicle, you can call us and we can put that plate in. If you forgot your permit, you're not going to get tickets for those types of things. So we're trying to improve in that nature. I know parking is kind of always the crux in the room. I will say that from a standpoint of funding and things of that nature, $90 is very low in comparison to many other universities. And we need to remember that, yes, we don't want to pay a lot for parking, but at the same time, if we want to be able to put new parking in and to increase the parking and make sure we're maintaining those lots, we're going to have to fund that somehow. Okay. And that has to come from funds designated for parking. And the only way to increase those funds is to charge for it. So we want to make sure that we're charging a marketable weight or marketable amount. We don't want to penny pinch the students, obviously, but we do want to make sure that we're able to provide the resources y'all need. Just in general, for a parking space to be built and on a flat lot, you're looking at about $7,000 a spot right now. To build a parking garage, you're looking at about $30,000 a spot right now. So it's very expensive to build these things. And, right now we're working to try and to keep it as minimal cost as possible, and just working with you all to create better solutions. The license plate system being one of those, to make it easier on y'all.
Is there plans to increase the parking fee? Yeah, the parking permit fee.
Nothing that I know of.
I'm not aware of anything right now that's been proposed. I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but staff and faculty actually pay $120 a year. And just so you know, every police department employee has a parking permit. So we're not exempt from it either. And, you know, that was actually a recommendation made by the police department to the administration a few years ago, because we felt like there's a lot of faculty and staff spaces out here that you can't park in. So as students, I don't feel like you should be paying as much as staff and faculty, because there's actually more parking available for staff and faculty. So I think the university's giving you a break on, you know, a little bit of a break anyway there. And like Brad said, if you compare it to other universities, we're probably cheaper than most on parking. And there's got to be a certain bucket of money there. Again, I think when they just resurfaced the lots recently, $300,000 recently. So you can see how that adds up quickly. But I do not know of any plans right now. There's been nothing suggested to me to raise the parking fee at this time. Now, we are talking about raising the cost of fines for parking violations, particularly for no permit, because right now I think it's $35. A permit costs you $90. So you could get almost 3 tickets before, you know, you'd have to, so you might see that go up, the fines.
On 12 o'clock on a Tuesday or Thursday, it's very dangerous. It's hard for us to pull out of our parking lot, which means it's hard for you all to try to get out of there. So we're going to be limiting parking in the next couple of months, maybe 6 months or so, to just and quote me if I'm wrong on my directionals here, the south side of the Varsity Drive closest to the university actual campus. So that's being done for safety concerns. We've had a few incidents of people almost getting hit walking across the street, things of that nature, that we're concerned for safety at this point, and we feel that it needs to be limited down just to that one side. So there are going to be some complaints coming from that, I'm sure.
I don't know if you can answer this, but with parking, so you know where the HBCU is in the business building, is there any way we can put a road right there so you don't have to go all the way back out and turn and go all the way back around to get to the business building?
I want to say there's probably one there at one point in time.
You're talking about another way out of this area?
That's something that I'd recommend. If y'all think that's something that would be of use, you know, putting a proposal together for it and submitting it to probably parking to go to facilities for consideration and up the chain of command for us. You know, a lot of campuses are trying to get away from roads in inner campus, one, because of the safety of people driving through there. You know, there's been a lot of issues of event traffic, things like that, where you have cars trying to drive into crowds, and adding that pathway only increases the risk of that. From a safety point, you know, right now, lot 15, I'm sure a lot of you are aware we have flock cameras on campus, which is license plate readers. Lot 15 is kind of an isolated location right now. If we're looking for a vehicle on campus that's been involved in something serious, we can put our patrol resources to a specific area because we know it hasn't touched lot 15. We know it hasn't entered housing facilities. So we know it's somewhere on the main campus. There is the problem of getting over there to business building.
And that has been talked about in the past, so I'm not going to rule it out going forward.
Maybe you could answer this question. Do the different housing facilities have cameras? Because I've had a few students express concerns about whether or not maybe they might have someone walk into their dorms whenever they have the doors unlocked, or maybe if something gets stolen.
So most housing facilities, I think all now do, especially Victory Village. I know we did a lot of work this summer increasing cameras throughout housing. So I'm going to say this: technology is what it is, and internet interruptions and things like that. We do lose cameras from time to time, but we're constantly making sure that those cameras are up in housing. I know Victory Village has many, many cameras. O-Hall has cameras scattered throughout the buildings in the hallways. Patriot Village does have cameras in and around the clubhouse area. There's not as out actually built the hallways of the dormitories themselves. Liberty Landing, I know we've done a lot of work on the cameras over there, but again, I think that's central more towards the outer, outside of the apartment complexes. So, you know, there's part of the problem is we need to train people to continually to keep their doors locked. If you go out, keep your doors secured. You know, don't be letting strangers tailgate through the parking lot to get into the different housing units. And other part of that is we any of these apartment complexes, we're capturing that license plate information. So if a burglary does occur and we're watching the cameras at the entrance and we see a vehicle enter at midnight, okay, and then we see a vehicle leave at 2 o'clock in the morning, that same vehicle, we're able to kind of limit down who all has been committing these crimes. I'm not sure if y'all remember the good old Cadillac converter thefts that occurred here on campus at the beginning of the semester. We were able to use Flock to figure out who those people were. Okay. And then we were able to work with other agencies, and that guy actually ended up getting arrested for warrants out of some other state. I can't remember the exact state, but he was placed into custody based on the Flock that we got. So there's always a need for increasing cameras, but to balance that cost and the use of them. So I think we're going to try to push for more cameras eventually. It's just trying to come up with the money to fund those.
Yeah, we currently have about 600 cameras throughout campus. That includes the residential facilities, the K through 12 school, Palestine and Longview, and of course the main campus here. But about 600 right now. And like I say, we're always adding. We'd really like to hear about any safety concerns if you have any. Maybe something we haven't heard about. Has anybody overheard anybody talking about not feeling safe on campus, or poor lighting in any areas, or anything you can think of that we could improve?
I know for a little bit over there by the pharmacy building, where you're going by the trees and then you cut right to pharmacy, about 3 or 4 of those lights were out as far, I believe, just a couple weeks ago. So I don't know if they've been fixed recently, but it'll probably be something that you'll should look into.
Thank you for that.
Go ahead, Emily.
So those lights that he was actually just talking about, I put in a request with facilities, or like I put in a notice that those lights were out. I never heard anything back. I'm not sure if I should expect to, or but I did put in a maintenance request for that. But I did have a question about security, I guess patrolling. I've only heard of one time around midnight where a police officer or a security someone came into the art complex that's on campus and like walked around and like checked. And I've been there for a few years, and that's the only time I've ever seen anyone patrol inside the actual complex. I didn't know if there was like a schedule for that, or like maybe I was never there at the right times to see someone. I don't know if you could speak more to that, like what those rounds look like in there.
So there's not a specific schedule that officers follow. Obviously, you know, different nights, there's different police officers working, and they all kind of have their own way about going around campus and making rounds through buildings. We did do a big push this semester to make sure that we had a much heavier visible presence in and around campus and in the apartment complexes, which has been a direct impact on a reduced level of crime that's been occurring for small, you know, thefts and burglaries of vehicles, things of that nature. We will check in on the parking walks for the art complex building, and we will make sure we send out an email to increase parking walks in that area moving forward, just to make sure that they remember to go out and get involved in that part of campus.
Thank you.
this might be more facilities related, but the crosswalk at night, it is completely pitch black unless those lights are on and flashing. Yes. And students will just tend to cross it whenever they see that there's nobody there and they don't have to push the light and wait the whole a couple seconds to cross the street. And it can be rather dangerous. And I don't know if you guys have, or you or have ever talked about. Trade you. Is it working now? Okay. That was my question.
Okay. You want to take this one?
I think that's a great idea. Matter of fact, we'll look at that this evening and we'll make recommendations to facilities. If we see that'll be a benefit and if it's something they, have within their budget right now, cause that's a big deal. It really is. So I know the crosswalk is a lot safer. How many of you were here when it was up by the main entrance? It was a nightmare then. I mean, literally people were almost getting hit every day and motorists were running that red light constantly because there was just too much going on right there in that area. We've seen a really significant reduction in violations at that since they've moved the crosswalk. So it is safer than it was, no doubt. But definitely if we've got a nighttime problem, we will look into that.
Is this mic working?
And especially with the time change coming up soon, there's going to be more and more traffic out there during dark hours.
So currently I take a course in Longview. And I don't really see any people patrol over there. I only saw one officer and it was like the very first day of class. And like he stood by the front, but the side doors, they're kind of like loose and they're like anybody could enter. And it's a smaller campus. It's just like one building. So I don't know if like more people could go and patrol or like what safety measures could be done over there.
So we actually have a police officer that is assigned out and dedicated to Longview campus Monday through Friday. It's there very, very early in the mornings. Be honest, he does spend a lot of time over at the K through 12 school with everything that happened this past year. He is stationed out there, however, and he should be doing some regular walkthroughs of Longview campus. We'll double check on that. There's also a PSO or a guard that comes in for the evening hours and is there usually from about 5:30, 6 o'clock till the time that they close. So I don't know if we've just been missing you or if he hasn't been doing the parking walks out there. It is a satellite campus, so it's hard for us to send our officers that are here working a patrol shift out there to Longview. So he is this assigned officer, and we have an assigned officer at Palestine as well that kind of does the same thing, the dual purpose out there. So if there are calls for service out there, if you see something suspicious, if you call our dispatch line here at the 7300, we'll be able to get a hold of him and he'll be able to respond very quickly.
And when you refer to the doors, the side doors, which ones are you referring to? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay,
Well, that's important though, because the way that that building's kind of designed out there, everyone's supposed to funnel in through those main doors so that the ladies that sit in the front office are seeing who's coming in, and in a lot of the staff are in that area. So usually they recognize the regular students, and if they don't recognize somebody, they're always making sure they get a hold of us or they call Bobby directly, who's the officer out there. So if you see something suspicious or you see things like that, let us know. We do have a problem of people propping doors. We would love to try to stop that really quickly. That's one of the biggest security features is a locked door. So locked doors prevent people from getting in. And it's that one time somebody forgets to not prop that door, and our guard calls in sick or something like that, and then all the computers in the computer lab end up getting walked out of the building. So it's important to make sure that those doors aren't getting propped open.
This is more of a comment. You guys do a great job monitoring the Palestine campus. I drive by because I live right by that campus, and there's always someone that every morning he stands out there and he talks to the people that drive in with their cars, and he'll ask them like, "How's your day to day?" So I feel like he would be really alert. I'm not sure if he's a campus officer or if he's just someone that works for there, but he's really good. I believe he just monitors everyone. He's African American male. That is
He's a big old dog guy.
Yes. He but I've only went up there twice and he's always been so sweet and just always talks to everyone.
That is Ricky Jones. I don't think I've anybody that doesn't like Ricky Jones. He spent, I think, what was it, 15 years with DPS before he came on with us. So he's a very experienced officer out in Palestine that we're grateful to have out there. And again, he kind of serves that same dual purpose of the K through 12 school as well as the Longview Center Palestine campus out there. We'll make sure to pass that along to him.
We appreciate that.
One of the kind of the big initiatives we're pushing here is trying to kind of bridge the gap between the community we serve and us. So a lot of times people don't want to talk to law enforcement or don't want to give criticism or put requests in like you all are kind of telling us the things that y'all need. And we're partnering with a company called Axon through Mine 90. And we're able to push out satisfaction surveys, basically post-contact surveys. So if you get pulled over on a traffic stop, an officer comes out for a theft report from you. It allows you to do a quick survey, takes nothing but about a minute, and allows you to put your input, basically talking about how you felt about the stop. Were you treated fairly? Is there anything else you need from the police department? Is there anything you desire? Do you want more patrol? Do you want less patrol? Things like that, so that we're able to really tune into what our community desires. And that should be rolling out here in the next couple of weeks. We're getting the contact cards ordered right now. And then we're actually the first universities in the nation to start pushing this out on a post-contact basis. So we're really on the forefront here of this kind of stuff. And we want to make sure that we're meeting y'all's needs and not just out here trying to do best. So we really do take community input and try to implement it into our daily patrol functions and actions of the officer. So y'all should see that rolling out soon. And I'll probably send it out via student email coming up to try and get it to as many people as possible as well. Did you talk about the gunshot detection we're going to be trying out? You want to touch on that?
Assistant Chief Stanifor talked to you about the license plate readers we have at all entrances to campus. The same company soon will be installing gunshot detection all around campus. So the great thing about that is as soon as a gunshot's fired in the area, before you have to call it in or we hear it from somebody else, we'll be able to go to the scene quickly. Again, we're always looking for ways to enhance safety and security on the campus. And, you know, occasionally there will be gunshots in this area that may be coming from the apartment complex, the Foundry. That's been a frequent event over the last several years. I say frequent, maybe once or twice a year, but on right across from a college campus, that's a little bit scary. So we will be able to respond much quicker to reports or actually to gunshots without even getting a report. So again, it's just another thing we're doing to increase safety.
So I do know that we're allowed to conceal carry on campus, but I noticed at the beginning of the semester at the entrance of the College of Business, there were signs that said you were not allowed to. I didn't know if that was for a specific reason, if there's being changes made on campus. I was just curious.
I can probably address that. If there's a specific event that, say a K through 12 event, where there's going to be K through 12 students in a particular area of the building, then they will put up the signs. But other than that, they shouldn't be up. Now, I know that those signs in the past have been stored in that breezeway until they need them, and that creates confusion. So I have asked, and hopefully they're not being stored there now. I've asked that they not be stored there because I've had that same question come up plenty of times. Generally, anywhere on campus, as long as you're 21 years old and you have a license, you can conceal carry. unless you see one of the 3006 signs that says you can't in that particular area. So I will follow up on that and make sure they're not storing the signs there in the breezeway, because I think that's what it is 90% of the time. There's not an event going on. The signs are just sitting there, and it creates confusion.
So for a little background, I lost my class ring a couple weeks ago, and everyone keeps telling me to go to your guys' building and ask if you guys have it, if someone brought it. Can people do that? If they found anything, can they just drop it off to you guys? Like,
So that's a loaded question. We don't like taking clothes and things like that because obviously we do have limited storage space, but anything of value. So when people say they found rings, cell phones, wallets, we've had people turn in wallets with hundreds of dollars in it before, ID cards, things of that nature is going to be at the it. You can call up there and we can search through our property database to there.
And we do have some valuable items turned in at times that never get claimed. So it is kind of underutilized. People need to know that they can call us and check. Like Brad said, sometimes it's cash, and you did. We'll just need to know how much was in there and the serial numbers of the bills and that kind of stuff.
Any other questions?
I know that there's been a lot more news about fentanyl being more of a presence and stuff like that. I don't know if that's been a problem here, but I know that a lot of law enforcement has started carrying Narcan on them. Do y'all carry Narcan on you? And if not, is that just because there hasn't been really a need as of yet on campus to have that?
Actually, the chief sent me an email about 3 weeks ago telling me we need it. We have one bottle in the PD lobby that's there. However, we want to get it put in every patrol car so that it's readily available for use for the students here, most importantly, but also for the officers and also suspects that may be overdosing on drugs, things like that, getting them back up on their feet and to the help they need. So we're going to be purchasing it again. Unfortunately, the big pushes and campaigns for Narcan, making it free for law enforcement across the state of Texas, the funding for that has run out from the government. So we are going to have to purchase that ourselves, but we will find a way to fund that program.
Thank you.
Landry, we really appreciate the invite. And again, we are here for you all, the student body. So anytime you have any questions or any concerns, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
I think I speak for all the students when we saying that we really, really appreciate what y'all do. So thank you so much. I know that appreciation is sometimes not as vocalized, but we really do appreciate it. All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and move right along to officer reports. So it looks like I'm up first, as always. So this past week, I've been working on senator training as well as getting things ready, helping everybody get things ready for midnight breakfast, which is coming up. So get excited. It's a lot of fun if you haven't been a part of it yet, especially actually getting to run it and stuff like that too. So it's a whole different experience. We have a lot of cool things planned. So it's going to be exciting, and we'll talk about that more next week. Ronnie, do you have a question? Yes, Chloe's not here actually, so I will go ahead and talk about that. We did purchase shirts. We purchased the ones that are the fully colored ones, that has the pumpkin on the back of it and the vine and everything. So I think we got the ones that everybody wanted, and we ordered 200 of them. Okay. Yeah, so that is something that we did. We will discuss more about that too at next meeting, since that's the week before midnight breakfast. So we'll have a time where we just literally talk about everything midnight breakfast related. But that's mostly what I've been working on this week. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Vice President Bennett.
So a lot of what I've been working on too is getting stuff ready for midnight breakfast. So I've been finalizing getting decorations together, getting them ordered. I've also with the stuffer critter, the UC will be doing that again. We are not finalized on the different items that we will be giving, so you'll have to wait till midnight breakfast to see what they got. And just working with Landry to figure out, we haven't finalized it yet where everyone will be during midnight breakfast, but we will have that ready for next meeting. So that's it.
Treasurer Luna.
Yes, I think I can speak for Robert as well when I say stressed about midnight breakfast. But everything's working out. I'm really excited. Like I said last week and probably the week before, I think it's going to be a really big event, and I mean huge. I'm really excited for it once again. Just been getting all SGAC stuff ready. I was excited because I thought we were going to be meeting 3 groups this week, but I'll talk about it a little more whenever we do committee reports. So yes.
Chief of Staff Peters.
So last week I met with judicial board for the first time of the semester, and it was a good meeting. We went over roles and expectations. I've mainly been getting, the rules committee presentation ready that we're going to be giving later today. So
Awesome. All right, then we will go ahead and move right along to committee reports. Events committees first up.
Events committee this week was cut pretty short. There's really only one thing that we had on discussion, and that different routes of avenue for helping us pay for midnight breakfast, because breakfast for a 10th of the population for the university is not cheap, surprisingly. So
If not,
we've been working and trying to find different routes of avenue to help us pay for it. So, yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Communications committee. Chloe's not here, so somebody on the committee. Is there anything to report?
Really, we just talked about the shirts that we were going to go with. That was pretty much the big thing. And then making more posts for midnight breakfast, like not really spamming the Instagram with them, but like
Making sure
kinda
people know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, doing a lot more with it, but that's about.
Okay. Awesome. SGAC. Mike, baton pass.
Like I said, I thought we were going to be meeting with 3 groups. So Beta Alpha Psi being the first, Minorities in Business, and then the American Medical Student Association. Minorities in Business, I had to clarify some things for them. They just didn't fill out the stuff right. So we only really got to meet with Beta Alpha Psi. They got approved. They were just asking for items for their painting or pumpkin painting party on the 27th. Excited. I'm gonna try to go to that. It's like I said, on the 27th, 4 to 6, I believe she said. And then with the American Medical Student Association, they didn't show up. So yeah.
Go ahead.
If an organization wants to purchase like a program for their organization, is that allowed? Can we use a fund? Like if they want, I told Leslie to email you. She wants to get a boot camp for her dental program, and she didn't know if you got, because it's expensive, and she wanted to see if she could use funds for that, or is it only events? No, it's her, like the whole organization. She wants to purchase like the boot camp for everybody in it.
What is the item that she is purchasing exactly?
It's a DAP boot camp, the dental. Yeah, it's like a program for them to use to get ready to take the test. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I think it has to be advanced.
Yeah. Yep. Most funding requests, if they're going to get approved by SGAC, has to have some sort of value to it in growing the organization itself to other students that aren't already in the organization. So as a general rule. Rules committee, which
Just like Soren said, we'll be giving that presentation and maybe many more in the future.
we will
That's
see.
very
Exciting.
ominous sounding.
Environmental Sustainability Committee.
We currently got a survey going up on when our meeting and the time is going to be, or the day and the time. And then if you want to join still, just let me or Landry know and we'll hook you up.
Perfect. GSA, Graduate Student Association. we are going to be working on, and this is to graduate students, we are going to be working on getting that put together by next week. So we're going to work out the details of that. If you're a graduate student or senator in here that is a graduate student, then I'll be reaching out to you probably next week to discuss that. All right, then we will go ahead and move right along to student voice reports. We have the residence halls up this week, so Victory Village is up first. I'll go ahead and pass it off to Senator Black.
They finally finished, which is nice because it
Awesome.
was right under my window, and they're very loud.
Well, that's not awesome.
Really, the only other thing is there's some plumbing issues, so they're clarifying some of the issues with floor meetings in the next week or so. People are flushing inappropriate things that don't need to be going plumbing, so they've had to do a lot of work orders to fix that. But other than
Okay.
that, I haven't really heard anything.
All right, Senator Mattern.
We have health and safeties next week. The first ones went good, I guess. And we're having, I don't know if it's housing in general or just like Victory Village, but there's a lot more events. We're constantly getting emails. I mean, it's nice. I hate getting emails, but I mean, we're constantly getting emails and the flyers up around about all the events and stuff. So
Awesome. OHAL. Senator McAdams.
I know that we had room checks this week, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people passed it. And then yesterday, maintenance came by to change out the air filters finally, because
Good.
air filters were not good for a while. But other than that, it's been pretty good. I know we're probably going to be having some events coming up soon, but I'm not sure when.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Liberty Landing. Oh, go ahead, Kina.
I had a couple of students that are staying in O-Hall report problems with the water pressure. Like they say that there's barely any water that'll come out whenever they try to take a shower, and that they've reported it to the RAs. I can get him, the person that was mainly complaining about it, to contact you. Okay.
Awesome. All right, Liberty Landing. Senator Govea.
Local Liberty Landing pool is almost open, just in time for
Let's go.
November. and
Yeah, just in
October.
time for November. That's
So,
right.
They were planning on doing an event, just kind of like to relaunch the pool, but I don't know how far that'll go with our current weather.
Right.
But other than that, there's really nothing to report. Residents are having a good time on campus. Housing at Residence Life has been doing a lot more events that I can tell from the emails I've gotten from my student email. So yeah, nothing really to report.
Awesome. That's good to hear. All right. Other than that, then we will go ahead and move right along to new business. I entertain a motion to discuss the Rules Committee presentation. All right, carried by Senator Vargas and seconded by the whole Senate. I will go ahead and share that screen so that they can do their presentation, and then I'll let you take it over. Chief Peters.
All right. So Rules Committee has been working on a presentation that would add something to the Constitution. And what the change is it would be setting General Assembly at a certain time. So that means for the future, we always have it on the same day at the same time. This would allow senators to build their class schedule and extracurricular schedule around General Assembly, so we wouldn't have the confusion right before school starts trying to find a time that works for everyone when everyone's already picked their classes.
So I'll be fully transparent. I was the one that requested requested this, but my primary role as student government president is to make sure or to fill the Senate as much as possible. And so it is hard to schedule a time to where almost 46 people can all meet at the same time. So that is the reason why I have proposed this, was that in hope of y'all being able to plan that, okay, you have a class that you might need to take. I know that student government's going to be Thursday at 5:30, or it doesn't have to be Thursday at 5:30, by the way. This is opened up for discussion on whether or not that is a good day that we should propose it to. But it allows everybody to be able to plan that that is going to be on Thursday at 5:30, because I know that some of us ran into the problem expecting it to be Tuesday at 5:30 this year, which was what the meeting time was last year. So I think this might be an option just to make it easier. Again, if y'all think that this is not something that we should do, that is completely up to y'all. So that's just the reason why I had requested this to be brought up for discussion. So
Yeah, and since a lot of people are gonna be picking their classes, if not already, for the next semester, we'd be looking at adding this change starting the spring semester. So we could all pick our classes knowing what time, well, it'll still be the same for this year, of course, anyways. But for next year, everyone will know. So we won't have to lose anyone who's already in student government that still wants to be a part of it, just because there isn't really like an organized time that we meet in the Constitution. So
especially when it comes to planning it semester to semester, that's pretty short notice to be able to get everybody's schedule and then also be able to turn around and give a time to where most everybody will be able to attend student government. Because if I do promise that if student government continues to grow and continues to move forward this way, there will be almost every year at least times where we have to turn away people because they literally just can't meet because they have a class during that time. So
and this is like a really good solution to that. If we have a time that's set, then the expectation is that you would allow time, like you would allow like a gap in your schedule that you can attend General Assembly, since you know what it is for the future. So I'm just going to go to the next slide, because this is what it would look like in the Constitution. So we decided to put it in the preamble section, adding a General Assembly section. And what it does is the first sentence sort of defines what it is, and the second sentence shows the time that we're meeting. So the time is subject to change. I put Thursday at 5:30 because that's what we're doing now, and all of us are in this room, so we can all make it, hopefully. So yeah, with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. If y'all have any concerns about like the time that it's supposed to be.
Vice President Bennett.
So I think it's a great idea to put it in there where it's in the Constitution where it doesn't change so that we can build our schedules around. I think one of the main issues that will arise is the Thursday portion, maybe putting it back on Tuesday per se. Because I know at least for me, I've had moments where I've had events that are on the weekends that have bled into Friday and even into Thursday that I couldn't have made it to General Assembly. And so just in the future, probably Tuesday would probably work better than Thursday.
Might push back a little bit on that. So the main reason why we've proposed potentially Thursday or just really any day or really any reason why we would have it on a set date is not so much so for the events or anything like that that you might be missing because of General Assembly, because those are not necessarily the primary purpose of not attending General Assembly. It should be class, in my opinion. So that's one of the reasons that if you're going to miss General Assembly, usually the only reason why you should be missing it would be because of class. But Beverly, do you have?
So a little background. I like having like a specific day because Thursdays really cuts into my internship hours. And so I'm here and I'm very behind, but I'm still here. So no excuse for you guys. A good thing that we could do though is maybe the semester before we all decide on what time would be a good time. And then that is implemented to the next semester, if that makes any sense.
I really like where Beverly's at. I think it's important for us to set a concrete time and the day be flexible. Tuesday, Thursdays, the way classes are structured, if you have a Tuesday class, you're more than likely to have a Thursday class at the same exact time. So if you can't make it either way, your next best option would be a day that is not one of those days. So either having it a Tuesday or Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday kind of structure. You get a pick from one of those two dates, but the time is going to stay the same at 5:30. So you have to make sure at least both of those are free for you.
So this is just a suggestion, but have you considered Wednesday? Because I know a lot of people who don't have classes on a Wednesday. Also, because a lot of events fall on a Thursday, and as student representatives, I feel like that we should be engaged in other events that are put on by student organizations and just show that we're involved with them as well. So that, never mind. That's true.
There's also a lot of freshman lab classes that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a lot of psychology classes that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. So it's kind of, you got to pick your own poison there.
Friday at 5:30.
Okay, so I don't know if this would be a possibility, but is there any way that we could look up the class times to see, like, okay, a vast majority of classes are at this time at like this day, or like the least amount of classes are on this time at this day? Like, is there? Yes, yeah, I know. I'm trying to word it, but is there anyone that we could contact to maybe figure that out so we could have like a more, you're nodding your head because you work for the people, but yeah, that was just my call.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, for College of Business, almost all of the night classes are Tuesday, Thursdays. So I think it's different for every single college. Like you were saying, psychology or like sciences is more Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I don't know. I know that like I've had conversations with the dean and then also with the chair of the both management, marketing, accounting, finance departments about class times and them asking what the best times is for people. So I know that is something that you can do as senators, is go and talk to them and voice concerns saying, hey, can we like change this to where classes are at different times, because right now this is not working for students and being involved on campus and doing things they want to do.
Let me just say, we don't have to vote on this today either. This is more of just wanting to see what everybody thinks.
Besides the class schedule, I know a lot of people are also involved in other organizations. Can we look at when their times are? Like, are we already overlapping with another organization that a lot of us could be in? Okay, so
I just a comment, like for nursing students, I know that if you put it in, like obviously you want us to, in theory, schedule our schedules around having this open time for GA, but I legitimately didn't have my schedule until fully validated until October 1st for my clinicals and stuff. So you just have to be prepared to not have your nursing senators some weeks because their schedule's not the same week to week. Just something to remember.
Thank you.
So to comment on the idea that we put everyone's classes up and like we try and decide a time, isn't that what we're trying to avoid? So, I mean, I'm not trying to like come for your idea or anything. Sure. Right. And then like with the nursing thing, like, yeah, I still don't have my clinical schedule and it's what, halfway through the year. But like I would be willing to like reach out to them and like schedule it around it. So I feel like honestly, there's no excuse. That's just me though.
No, we don't have to vote today. I mean, the language is up there for the option of Thursday at 5:30, but that's also just really to give you an idea of what that would look like, where it would go once we do vote on it. No, we don't necessarily have to vote next week either. I mean, I would prefer to vote whenever we have a solid decision, but yeah.
I motion that we move to a vote to add General Assembly and the definition onto our preamble.
Can you say, well, somebody needs to repeat it, please?
I motion that we move to a vote to add the definition of General Assembly onto our preamble.
So not including the meeting time, just the definition. General Assembly is the weekly formal meeting of the student government. That's it. Just that first sentence. Okay. Motion. So Senator Holman has motioned to add the General Assembly definition, which is stated up there, just the first sentence to the preamble. Seconded by Senator Govea. All in favor of adding just the first sentence of what we have up here on the PowerPoint to the preamble defining General Assembly? Wait, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, please raise your hand or do a thumbs down emoji. Any abstentions? That passes. All right. Well, that first part of it is added on to the preamble. We still do probably need to continue having a discussion on times. We don't have to continue that discussion now if y'all are wanting to. Senator Vargas. Yes.
Motion to vote to table this discussion for another time. Till next meeting.
It was motioned and seconded, so we do have to vote on it. So all in favor of tabling the meeting or tabling the said discussion about meeting time till next meeting, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, please raise your hand or do a thumbs down emoji. Any abstentions? All right, the discussion continues.
All right. Just want to say one thing. So thanks, guys.
Shh.
So I just want to say this is something that we do really need to do because we don't want to lose any additional people that can't make it. Like no matter what time we set, it might cause problems with certain people. That's why it's our job to find the best possible time that works for the most amount of people because it's impossible to work fully for everyone. It's our job to find the best possible time that works for everyone. And it's in our constitution and it's not up in the air every single year. Like we don't want that to be how it was in the past. We want to make it better. So
I did have to turn away 3 senators that had won in the spring and 2 of them were returning. So I don't like having to do that. Again, we do not have to vote on anything else. But again, I'm really just here for discussion on whether or not how y'all feel about this.
I do have to say for next meeting, we will be having the majority of our conversation be directed towards midnight breakfast the week after. And then the week after that will be our discussions pretty much getting ready for the watch party. So if we are to table it, probably not next week or even the week after, it would have to be 3 or 4 or even 5 weeks later. And we'll be starting to get into finals weeks towards the end of the year. So just wanted to make that known to y'all.
I'm always down for a long meeting though.
I think the biggest thing is just like the fact that we have like a scheduled time because I know I had to go through a schedule change to fit this in, and that is just helpful to like know early on just like if we need to like have a schedule change. So I think when people when the time to like elect and like vote and all of that stuff is going on, I think as long as it's like early in the year where you can kind of like do that change, it's helpful to know. And like even with that idea that you had going on, it's like even on days where there are more classes, like I know for sciences, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, there are a lot of classes, but it's more of like when the time, like we mostly have classes in the morning and like, it's not really, you're not going to have like chemistry like at 8. So it's like more those kind of things happen in the morning. And so I don't know, but I think it'll be great to like have it scheduled.
So I would be completely open to inventorying like which like I guess colleges or major groups have their class times at a specific time. Like if they occur on a Tuesday more often than they do on a Wednesday and just figuring that out. And then I'd be more than happy to present that information to we could even here's a crazy idea. We could create an ad hoc committee for that team to do that. And then y'all could present that information back to the Senate. There's hands raised.
I will agree that I do like the idea of looking at previous class schedules and seeing which
classes have regularly meeting on the evenings. And I do believe that there's a way to look that up. If you contact the Academic Success Center, I believe that you can look up previous catalogs to see patterns in that.
So there's different ways that we can go about this if that's the route that we want to go, that y'all want to go. We can simply just say that we are going to get more information, and that onus probably gets put on me and the executive board and anyone else who's willing. Or we could create an ad hoc committee, and those who have an interest in wanting to do that and find a good time or know the correct people to contact could be placed on that committee. And then that would also count towards committee attendance. So it's up to the Senate.
I'll say one more thing. We do still have one more semester. We would want this change to be added before the start of next year, because our meeting time will be the same in the spring semester. So that wouldn't cause any problems, but we need it for future student government so that there is a standard in our constitution, but it wouldn't be affecting us until what is that, fall 2023? Yeah. So just something to keep in mind. We do have time to deliberate.
I motion to table this discussion until November 10th to give us proper time to look into the proper dates and times that would probably work best.
All in favor of tabling this discussion until November 10th meeting, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, please raise your hand or do a thumbs down emoji. Any abstentions? All right, seeing none, then the conversation will be tabled until November 10th. All right, well, I will go ahead. Thank you all for y'all's input, seriously. I will go ahead and put the agenda back up on screen. And then I guess I will move right along to advisor comments. No other new business. Does anybody have anything else to discuss for new business? Seeing none, we will move right along to advisor comments.
Questions on with PD. So I was really impressed with a lot of good questions that y'all are asking. I always want to be respectful to our guest speakers. I know parking is a very sensitive topic. Y'all did a really good job of asking parking questions. So I was a little worried, but no, it all worked out great. Obviously a lot of focus on the rules committee. I think having a set time is a great idea. I think that will help, especially when students are applying for elections. They know exactly what date and time, because that is a common question I get during candidacy meetings is, when does student government meet? And I say, well, it depends. And so to have a set time, that would be good. Most classes end by 4 p.m. every day. So that's standard across the board. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, historically, there is time after around lunch that is open as well. So you don't, some student governments that I've been at, they meet at lunchtime because that's when students are very accessible and students will attend. And so don't think outside the box before you make it permanent. Because once it goes into the Constitution, we're going to be locked in for a while. So just keep that into consideration. The other point I want to throw out there is, if it's earlier in the week, like Monday, that gives you time for the rest of the week to address issues. Because if issues are brought up on Thursdays, Fridays, people start thinking about the weekend and getting ready to take off. And then all of a sudden, you're not really following it up till Monday or Tuesday. And then student government's on Thursday. And so Mondays and Tuesdays really are the best time to bring up issues and then use the rest of the week to take action on it. So there's no right or wrong. And so whatever y'all decide, that's up to y'all. And so I don't really have an opinion on that. And so those were just some advice I wanted to give. I know it's on here, and Landry will probably reinforce that. I really want to see our student region applications and our Texas higher education board student positions increase. And so if you know students who might be interested in this cool opportunity, please encourage them to apply. Any questions for me? Right.
Right. Yep. And I will just reiterate that. Yep. Yes, student regent and Texas Higher Education Board nominations. I'm going to keep announcing this until we get to the actual date, which is November 20th. Please apply, even if you somehow or for some reason think you won't get it, just apply. It's a great opportunity. It's a great interviewing opportunity. Beverly? Yes, grad students historically, I will say this too, although I hate this trend, but grad students historically have been the ones that have been nominated for Board of Regents, but that trend every year they choose one turns closer and closer in favor to them choosing an undergrad assistant or undergrad assistant, choosing an undergrad representative for student regent. So every year they do that, the odds are more and more in our favor. So I encourage y'all to do that as well, if you're an undergrad especially. Senator of the Week. Nobody, again, because nobody submitted their fellow senators to recognize the hard work each of y'all do. I am tired of choosing people. So please, yes, do it. Everybody go and submit one right now before you leave. And I'm not adjourning this meeting until y'all do that. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Valerie does have an announcement about a service opportunity.
Okay, so I had one of my friends call me and she was like, her kids go to Clarkston Elementary and she said that they're having a trunk or treat and they don't have enough volunteers. And if they don't have volunteers, they can't do it. And that's so sad because I remember doing that as a kid. It's so fun and I just don't want it to get canceled for them. So I contacted the PTA president and she said she needs about 15 to 20 volunteers. She sent a flyer. They're in need of trunks with games or decorations, volunteers for the food table, face painting, photo booth, and other games, and volunteers will be awarded and signed off by the PTA president and principal of Clarkston. If you're interested in this, if it's okay, like I'm going to send the flyer in the group chat, and I'm going to send a Google Doc with the sign up stuff. So please volunteer, and if you know anybody, volunteer. And I'm going to reach out to Greek Life and see if they can get people because I don't know anybody that goes to Clarkston, but it would be really sad if they couldn't have one. Yes. It is October 21st from 5:30 to 7. So it's only like what? How long is that? 2.5? An hour and a half? 5:30, 7:30? Hour and a half? It's like a 2-hour commitment. Like that's it. So yeah. Yes. Do you have a question? Anyone have questions?
Sign up.
Yes.
Please. Go ahead, Robert.
So the East Texas Crisis Center every year does a trick or treat, and so last year SGA did a vehicle on, it's on the 23rd, not the 21st. So don't worry, it doesn't conflict with yours. So it'll be October the 23rd, the Sunday before midnight breakfast, and so I was going to go in and sign up a vehicle. Does anyone want to do that for trunk or treat? We did it last year. Yeah. Put some hay bales there in the back. There will be volunteer necessities for parking people as well.
I will say this too. I haven't had it finalized yet, but I mentioned it at last meeting about SGA service hours. This would potentially count towards that. So like I said, we are planning, or at least I am planning, if nobody else does, to get some sort of award at banquet that we would give out to whoever has the most SGA service hours. So not set in stone, but I'm working out the final details for that. We're going to talk about that at our next e-board meeting too. But this could potentially count towards that.
So Justin has
That service
graciously
as well as the
volunteered his vehicle. Do we have any other people to come along as well to join in? Soren and anyone else? It'll be Sunday the 23rd. It'll be sometime in the evening. I from 5 to 7, 3:30 will probably be whenever they want you to start getting there. Yes, I can find out some more information and send it there in the group me if that's okay. Okay. Yes, Justin. So there will be candy provided. However, they do ask that we do bring some candy on our own. Yeah. Yeah.
So another thing about service opportunities, if anyone was here the previous semester, we did a house painting thing with Path. I'm trying to get that together for nursing, but would y'all be in favor of having another one for SGA? If anyone, oh, I guess some of you don't actually know what that is. We go to, if anyone knows what Path is, do y'all know what Path is? It's like a service thing in Tyler. I don't even know how to describe it.
It's basically a like a housing complex or housing company that goes and they help maintain, create, and provide low income housing.
It's in
so
downtown Tyler, and we just like literally just go and like paint houses. It's fun. We can have we had music, we had pizza.
It snowed.
It snowed. And I've done it with other organizations as well, and it's always really fun. They also do like other things, like they have case managers for people that kind of like, it's not just like they do everything. So it's a really cool organization, and it's really fun if y'all want to do that. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like
we can announce it too again at next meeting and discuss too. One final thing, and then we're good to go. Ashley Bill reached out to me. She I know that the advising ad hoc committee hasn't met yet, but she's planning to meet after our SGA meetings on the 20th and the 27th. She has 3 people that have emailed her directly, and she knows that she talked to more senators that were interested though. So if you were interested in that, please, like in being on the ad hoc committee, please email me and let me know. So that way I can send her that. And that way we have more than her and 3 people on it. Okay. All right. Anything else? That's what I was waiting for. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. All opposed, please raise your hand or do a thumbs up emoji. Any abstentions? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Zoom. I will see y'all